about the healthcare debate that's going on, what I thought about Obamacare, what I think about Obamacare, and the future of healthcare going forward. When Obamacare was first passed, I didn't like it. Even before it freaking passed, I didn't like it. The Democrats kept it secretive, and now they're fucking crying wolf. But anyways, my beef with Obamacare is that my ass is forced to freaking sign up for something I did not ask for and I did not want. Now, if it's voluntary, I have no problem with it. However, healthcare in the United States is a freaking business. I mean, there is no other way around it. And let me tell you why. Besides the excruciating high costs of healthcare in the United States compared to other countries around the world, and I'm talking about both borders, whether it's Canada or Mexico. I mean, there are a lot of senior citizens, a lot of people who just cross the border to get healthcare because it's much more affordable than it is in the United States. How fucking wrong is it that if you have health insurance, you have to pay a monthly rate on your health insurance? Over $200 if you're single, and that's just on HMO, okay? Which doesn't cover anything. So you're paying over $200 a month for healthcare insurance, quote unquote. You still have to pay about $40 in copay. And that's minimum because if, it can go up. It can go $50 and so forth. There are very few where you still pay $20. But in most cases, you pay $40 when your ass visits the doctor. How fucking wrong is that? So you're paying $200 a month at least. You're also paying at least $40 in copay. Oh, and if your insurance does not cover something, your ass is paying a percentage of whatever procedure you just had done. So what fucking good is having health insurance when your medical needs are not covered in full? It's like you don't have health insurance because your ass is still paying a monthly rate. Your ass is still paying copay, and your ass is still going to pay a percentage from whatever the quote-unquote insurance company did not pay for. So what good is having health insurance except that you're helping to enrich the pocketbooks of these quote-unquote health insurance companies who are really, really milking the American people for their freaking money. Healthcare is a freaking business. Now, with this health insurance debate, now that a lot of people who are poor, who are elderly, who are sick, have health insurance, which they previously did not. And I'm talking about those who didn't have it before Obamacare, and are now covered. And maybe for the rest of the country as well. I am a Republican, but you know what? At this rate, having universal health care is probably the best thing. And let me tell you why. We pay a certain percentage off our taxes, like the European tax system, about 40%. But you know what? When your ass gets sick, when you really need those health services, you're fucking covered in full. You're not paying out of cost. Additionally, you're not paying anything in copay. I mean, you've already fucking paid it. So what good is having health insurance and that shit doesn't cover you in full? Why not have universal health care instead? I wouldn't mind. And this is coming from a Republican. Obviously, I'm not an ultra-conservative Republican, trust me. Otherwise, probably my ass wouldn't freaking advocate for universal health insurance. But I've seen it from other countries, and it's probably the best thing at this rate. You're not taking away the health insurance of those who are already covered. But you know what? I don't mind my taxes going into health insurance. Obviously, if I'm living in the United States, it's a whole separate animal for expats. But for those of us living and working in the United States, 40% of our taxes, but when we need it, we have healthcare covered in full. We're not scrapping for cash, for the copay, for something the insurance isn't covering, or anything of the sort. And at this point, I do believe universal health care is the answer. Republicans are never going to go for it. My party really is not going to go for it. But, the elections are around the corner. 2018. Repeal and replace. I think is a great idea to a certain extent. But if you're going to repeal and replace with, quote unquote, the mean bill, you know, for people who are no longer covered or what have you, we don't really know the details, but I mean, this is from my point of view. And this is for any health insurance that I've seen throughout my entire life. We pay a monthly rate. We go to the doctors on a visit. We still pay a copay and whatever procedure is not covered by our quote-unquote insurance, we still have to pay out of pocket. So what good is having health insurance? Tell me. Because I don't see the benefits of having it at all. Universal healthcare won't fly by with most people, but, you know, either that or just don't have it. Go back to what we had before, which was nothing. Don't force people to have health insurance who don't need it, who don't want it. You know, if we get sick, oh well. But don't force people to freaking pay for something we don't want. The Senate, I believe, is trying to put some incentives. They're not really incentives, they're really threats. If you don't have it, you're going to be penalized. That's not an incentive, that's a fucking threat. So, those are my 3, 10, 50 cents on the healthcare debate that is currently ongoing. That's it. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you next time.